But here's some thoughts I have for what it's worth, maybe some ways to focus business, take it or leave it. Here's some things that I'm thinking about though. I'd encourage you to watch for what is normal versus not in today's market. Every month that comes, ask yourself, what is February normally like? What normally happens in the market in February? Okay, March is on Friday. What normally happens to the market in March? What's normal for volume or prices or inventory? Okay, I have graphs like this every month. Please rely on them. Okay, obviously if you're a realtor, check out trend graphics. I mean, there's so many different sources in the market, okay? I'd say be careful about regurgitating sensational headlines though, okay? We are gonna have no shortage of crazy headlines, okay? But the problem is that when we're looking at headlines, sometimes we're missing stats, right? Did you know that the home ownership rate for people under 35 is actually growing? But sometimes the news cycle is like, millennials hate houses, they don't want to buy because they're too, playing games and texting, and, but it's like you look at the stats and go, they are buying. So sometimes we have to divorce ourselves from the headline and to look at the actual numbers, okay? Please don't be a real estate prophet, because I'm going to screenshot you on Facebook. And no, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. So be prepared more than ever for bubble conversations. Especially if you're in a selling position, you need to get really good at navigating this conversation, okay? It's on people's minds, okay? People are wondering, are we in another bubble? And in some senses, I don't know how productive that conversation ends up being. I think sometimes when people ask that, they're just asking, is it a good time to buy? Or what does it look like to afford the market? Just realize this, most people do not buy based on what the cycle's doing. Most people buy because it makes sense for their wallet and their finances at the time. Almost everyone I asked, 2012, you bought at the very bottom of the market. Did you know it was the bottom? Guess what they say? No. Maybe I'd ask in this room and you guys would be like, oh, I bought everything in 2011. No, you didn't, because remember that one graph with 3,000 sales on 100,000? Everyone's like, I wish, right? It's hard for professionals to even time the market. Okay, so let's be real. Price according to listings that are getting into contract. Okay, I know sometimes it's tense when the appraiser gets out, and you pray more than ever before the appraiser comes. But realize just in a market that's slowing, the market is seen in what is getting into contract. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're thinking the market is really aggressive. What is actually similar that's getting into contract? That is the market. Okay. And I can't emphasize that enough. In 2007, values were screaming down. If we looked at the sales up here, we would miss the market because the market was seen in the pendings chasing down the market. That is the market. Does that make sense? I think we get so infatuated with just sales. Buy your flips with more room just in case, okay? You want to make sure, hopefully you can buy off MLS. Have you guys found there's not that good of deals on MLS these days? Kind of when we only have 1% bank-owned properties, the deals disappear. I just recommend buy with a little bit more room just in case, because you never know, okay? Prepare your sellers for a market of more concessions, okay? I've seen it a lot of times in a lot of the sales I've been observing, even at high price ranges, we're seeing sellers giving a little bit more back, whether it's $2,000 or $5,000 or a few percent or whatever it is, credits for repairs. Okay, we're in a market where buyers are gaining more power, and especially if you're flipping, you have to realize that, and you have to be prepared. It's probably especially under 365, under the median price. You're in a market where you're probably going to have to give more. Has that been your experience? Right? You could stand up and be like, I don't give anything. Okay, that's fine. Good luck, right? Help buyers be realistic about the power that they have. For any realtors in the room, please just let buyers know that they can't offer $1 on properties, right? It's not a market where they're dominating, okay? I think that we still have an undersupply of homes. We're not quite to a buyer's market. I think sellers are still running the show, not by too much. There's no formula for how a market has to change or correct. Let's remember that. Increase your valuation skills. I just say, how can you get good at value in a market that's changing? What skills are you going to need to have in the next couple years? Okay, that's a critical question. And sometimes we don't ask those questions until we need the skills, right? Like me raising teenagers. Darn it, I should have read those books the last couple years. And anyway, Sellers are likely going to struggle with overpricing, okay? So find a way around that. Okay, you have to get good at managing this conversation and pointing them to reality. Okay, drop some stats on them. 15% cash buyers. What are we doing pricing for 15% of the market? Why don't we think about 85%? Okay, it took 11 days long or 12 days longer to sell. There's 11% less multiple offers. Those are powerful stats. Boom, boom, boom. They're right here. Look for sellers who want to exit the market. Okay, there's not a lot of incentive for some sellers to sell right now. Unless they're looking to exit the market, right? Because if they sell, where are they going to go? They're going to buy something that's, priced really high. Unless they need to upsize or downsize, they're probably going to stay put, especially if they have a really sweet 3.5% loan, right? So look for the sellers who do want to move out of the market, okay? Speaking of which, keep an eye on migration patterns. Anytime the SACB or anyone in the region publishes stats from U-Haul, or any company dealing with migration, pay attention, okay? Where are Californians moving most? What states? Yeah. Arizona, Texas, Nevada, Oregon, and there's a lot of Idaho, okay? A lot of Idaho. And it's interesting because you read articles, the New York Times wrote something where you see people are moving towards the middle of the country where it's more affordable. And so it's almost like we are the Bay Area buyers to Texas and all these other states, okay? Watch for Bay Area sellers looking to exit the market and move to Sacramento, okay? Now, I wouldn't bank all your business on this, okay? But you got to be looking for the trends, the mentality. If the market did correct at some point, you're going to have people who are like, I'm going to list and I want to get out of here and I want to move to a lower price market. So Bay Area will do that, get to Sacramento, and Sacramento will do that in Austin or in Boise or wherever. Mike Goby, Mike is here? Yeah, Mike is the man, and I always tell this, yes he is, so. Yeah. So I always share this question that Mike asks, and I always give him credit. I don't like to pretend like stuff is mine when it's not. I don't know where Mike, is this original? I shouldn't ask. Anyway, you can tell me later. But he's got this great thing. Which house do you want to ride down the market in? Okay. For someone who's sitting on the fence and thinking, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I want to buy in this market. Should I switch homes? I mean, there's a viable question. Where do you want to lose? Okay, if the market did correct in a big way, you're going to lose value no matter where you are. And so the question becomes, which house do you want to ride down the market in? Okay, I just think it's a powerful question. I think it's an honest question without the pressure. So kudos to you, Mike. The last one, watch sales volume and listings in particular. Okay, like I said, how would we know if the market was changing more significantly? We would know if this slump continues. Okay. If this slump does not continue and we see that, hey, things normalize, then we'll say, okay, the market has normalized more for 2019. If the slump continues and we persist to see sales volume down 15 to 20%, then that's going to be a problem. One quick thing, sales volume is going to be down in February. Okay, it will be down 15 to 20%, but remember, February sales reflect the market from about December and some of January. The pendings, they close in February. The market was really dull then. So where are we going to see today's market? We're going to see it in the pendings in January and February. So does that make sense? Does that sound too geeky? I mean, the only way to see the market today is going to be through the pendings and the listings. The last thing I'd just say, study the market so you can anticipate who your future clients are going to be. Whatever you're doing with investment or real estate, who are you going to be working for in 2019 and 2020 based on how the market's moving? Often we don't ask this question until we need the answer in the moment. Wisdom says, ask the question right now before the market changes more. Does that make sense? Like for me as an appraiser, I've seen the lending world has been somewhat of a sinking ship and a changing thing. And so I've tried to diversify my business out of doing just lender appraisals because they're like, hey man, we're just going to waive that. And you know what I'm saying? And so wherever you're at. This is my contact information. If you want a copy of this presentation, send me an email, or you can text me your email address. That's completely fine.